Hi guys, we are back in the man cave of an acting teacher for another video. Thank you for enjoying yesterday's car wreck of a video that I made about Zen. Alright, I really appreciate the comments and the private messages of sympathy and support. Alright, the reason why I don't feel it was great is because, I literally was talking about something that I'm not an expert in and that I don't teach, right? So I feel much more confident, obviously, to talk about things that I am an expert in, right? And that I do teach, yeah? So I just wanted to answer the questions that were asked of me about why I mentioned Zen. So I hope it answered those questions to the best of my ability, right? I can talk to you privately about it anyway if you want me to make even more of a mess of it for you, right? Anyway, look, today we're going to briefly talk about characterization, okay? So this is kind of the second stage of the teaching of my technique, right? Once we've covered the history, the Stanislavski-Meisner kind of, Strasbourg, Adler, lineage, Joan Littlewood and other people, and all of those kind of little bits and bobs that take us through the evolution of modern actor training in realism, I suppose, more than anything. Then we go into the second stage, right? Now, some actors will prefer simply to play themselves. And you probably notice if you turn on the TV that there's different kinds of actors, right? You'll see actors like, Daniel Day-Lewis or whatever, who will always in some way be physically transforming into character, okay? And then you'll see other actors like, Alec Baldwin or Sandra Bullock or people like that, who seem to pretty much play themselves most of the time with their own accent and their own physical self. And that's how they play out their roles, okay? Now, one isn't better or worse than the other. It's just that one involves a longer movement or a longer journey to the character than the other, okay? So a good way to look at it is this. Some actors that I teach, I hand them a script and they say, oh, this isn't me. And I go, well no, it never will be, right? I want something that's a bit more, something that I can relate to. All right. So then I have to find them something, if that's what they want to do, that they can relate to, that they feel is more easy for them because the character is more like them. Yeah. So they want to be the same age as the character, the same gender as the character, obviously, the same, whatever, have the same accent, be from the same area, and they'll find those easy to do, and that's what they want me to find for them. Okay. Grand, right? And then they cover the Stanislavskian basics, and basically they can play out that scene in reasonable fashion, However, there are other actors, and I encourage this, of course, because this to me is where the art is, right? Who say to me, okay, find me something to challenge me. Find me something that is not me, yeah? I want to travel a distance to get to this person, right? So the system that we use starts with the idea of separations. So instead of looking for how we're similar to the character, opposite, we look at how we are not similar to the character. And we call these separations. And we make two lists, psychological and physical separations. And they will cross over, okay? So how am I not this person, all right? So I am not Hamlet because I'm not from Denmark, right? I am not Hamlet because because I'm not a prince. I am not Hamlet because my father is alive. As Hamlet, my father is dead, all right? Or etc., etc. So psychologically and in terms of given circumstances, where I'm from, etc., my level of education, all those kind of things are psychological differences. In there, again, you can put in things like apparent appetites, okay? Opinions, attitudes, right? Worldview, political views, right? And these aren't judgments on the character. They are literally, factually, what is evident in the script itself, what we know for a fact about that person. So we're not making any judgment on them. You can see how these cross over because you might say, okay, well, my character has an appetite, right? Where they are addicted to cigarettes. So they smoke 100 cigarettes a day, like in Shine, or something like that, right? Psychological difference to me is also a physical difference to me, okay? The smoking side of it and what that does to one physically with the coffin and the carrying on and all the rest, right? Other physical differences there might be specific physical differences like ailments or conditions, cerebral palsy if it's my left foot or whatever it is. And those are differences between me and that character. And my job as an actor is to bridge those gaps, to bridge those separations so that I can become that person and play that person with the respect that they deserve, okay? So that's how the separations work. Now notice that I've made two lists, psychological and physical, right? But not emotional, all right? So don't fall into the trap of saying, oh, my character is a sad character, my character is a jealous character, my character is a happy character, okay? They're not the characteristic separations that you're looking for, okay? Because what they tend to do is make you fall into the trap of playing what we call generalized emotional states, all right? Where you play generalized sadness or generalized happiness, yeah? So, for example, you might have a character that was abused as a child, okay? To say, oh, well, in that case, that character's a sad character, and then I'm going to play that character sad throughout this entire play, right? Maybe not, okay? Because maybe that character, deals with the memories and the weight of their abuse through becoming cheeky, through becoming mischievous, through becoming angry, right? And through fighting for justice, perhaps. I don't know, right? I'm making these up as I go along, or kind of remembering things that I've done myself in the past, right? But yeah, so you can't make an emotional, generalized judgment call, okay? Now, just on that, we never judge our character at all, okay? So if you're going to play Adolf Hitler, you're playing Adolf Hitler and looking at the world from his perspective. You're not condoning or condemning the man, right? You're just dealing with what he did, how he saw the world, and you're playing his core problem, right? And his objectives, yeah? And you'll find, of course, that there's a lot of differences, between you and him, yeah? And you can make those lists, and then you start to bridge those gaps until you become that person. Now, obviously, this kind of acting, right, requires training, okay? I can't do that on a video, of course. You need to get into the studio for that. But various different techniques will take you through it, and certainly mine does too, if you ever want to do mine, right? But psychologically speaking, you need to prepare yourself for the fact that the character that you play will always be going through some kind of pretty heavy crisis. They'll be going through, heartbreak or an illness or losing a loved one or abuse or something of that nature, because all characters in all dramas are in some kind of crisis. And if you're going to act this way, going down this road, you're going to experience that crisis because you're going to be creating a mind for that character where it's going to feel like you're looking out of that character's eyes at the world around you. And we call that third place, okay? The third place is the third place that an actor goes after they've read the script and sympathized with the character, then started to wonder how they might relate to the character, which is empathy, right? Have I been through this in my life? Can I relate? Empathy. And on the third step, on the other side of all that, right, is a place we call third place. And third place is, it's not mysterious. It's simply the feeling, which is very disarming at first, when you first do it, of seeing the world from someone else's perspective, okay? It's hard to explain that, but once you experience it once, right, then you will just assume that that's the way you're going to go every other time. When you first experience it, it's almost like kind of, oh God, what just happened to me? Did I just do something to my brain? But you realize very quickly that, you haven't hurt yourself and it's not a magic trick or anything. You've just seen the world from someone else's perspective. And then each time you get a new character, you'll be aiming for that goal, if you want to put it that way, which not really, but every time. Well, you'll assume it. If you're not there, you'll be going, oh, hang on, I've missed something in my homework. I need to go back because I'm not in third place just yet with this particular character, this particular part, right? So psychologically, you kind of have to be prepared for that. You have to know how to get yourself there and how to get out of there and how far to go down that rabbit hole, okay, so that it's safe for you and that the story, which is, of course, the most important thing, is being effectively told, all right? Physically speaking, same thing. You need to be able to be adaptable physically, and there's lots of wonderful physical training regimes and systems that you can go through. idiosyncratic transformation is the one I teach in my courses, of course, as you well know. But you can do wonderful things for your body by training in things like Suzuki and viewpoints and corporal mime and the work of Jacques Lecoq and clowning, okay? I mean traditional clown, right? And there's a lot of different things that you can do that way. You need to be fit physically and strong. And I don't mean, you know, muscle strong. I mean adaptable. I mean flexible, right? So that you can lose and gain weight, okay, with it safely, right, in the right way, okay? And you can change your body into the physical shape of your characters. So you're taking on a whole set of idiosyncrasies and physical habits and a physical way of moving through the world that is unique to them as opposed to you, okay? So this all starts from what we call an artistic vision, all right? And I won't go into that in too much depth because I'm nearly out of time, right? But when you read a script, okay, some actors see themselves wearing the character's clothes when they're reading through the script. Other actors see another human being entirely, as if they're watching a completely unique person walking down the street that they've never seen before. And that person, of course, is completely unique. They think their way. They move their way. They speak their way. They have a tone of voice that is unique to them, because all of our tones of voices and all of our physical idiosyncrasies and habits are unique to us. You see, I'm just looking at myself in the viewfinder there, right, in the camera, in the phones, on the phone screen, doing this with my hand. And I've just realized, yeah, that is one of my habits. I clock my thumb in like that and I make this gesture. That's mine. It's my idiosyncrasy. It's my habit. No one else has it. Not exactly the way I do it, yeah? That's what makes up me. Now, if I want to play a character that does other things than that or something else, that has to go away, all right? I have to create an anonymous place for my own body, and then I lend my body to the idiosyncrasies and habits of the character. So when I see that artistic vision, I then go about a lovely, creative, highly artistic journey of psychologically listing out how they're different to me, physically how they're different to me, and then making those changes, actually bridging those separations and becoming them. And that's what characterization's all about. Some people believe that the character doesn't really exist, like David Mamet and people like that. But look, to me, as soon as you believe in a set of given circumstances that are not your own, as soon as you're pursuing an objective that is fictional, or trying to solve a core problem that is not yours, right, which is what the character's going through, you're already stepping into character from the beginning, right? I think that's what we do as actors. It's just my own perspective on it, right? But hey, look, I'm over time. Again, if you want to do any training with me, I am doing some lovely, very rewarding online classes now with a bunch of students as I'm going through COVID-19.